All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Giving double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers that out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. All right, just coming back with a quick lesson, going into the MOTB. Brothers have done various videos, about this Jake that got this brain implantation, So we're just going to go into that. We'll start out with that video first, and then we'll get into some scriptures, Lord willing, is edifying.
Not too important. What I'm about to tell you is extremely important. I'm one of the first people to get a Neuralink implant in my skull. If you guys can see and don't really know what a Neuralink is, it's kind of like an electronic chip from Elon Musk embedded in your skull. At first it was kind of like a Fitbit, kept track of vital signs, stuff that was going on in my body. Eventually it's gotten to a point where I can move a mouse without even touching a computer. I can connect, I can download, I can transfer information. I'm not the only person that has one of these now, and now we can communicate. This is what's going to happen for the rest of the world. Eventually, this technology will be, maybe not in you, your kids, your grandkids. This is what's coming next. Welcome to the year 2025. Have fun.
All right, so we saw it, and we're just going to get into some scriptures. We're going to go, we know that this is going to come upon the whole world. So we're going to go into it, Salakia, from a different point of view, because we're just going to go into that grievous sore, that noisome, grievous sore, because if you take this chip, if you get this chip implanted in your brain or in your hand or wherever in your body, it's going to cause sickness. We're going to go into that and kind of prove that. So this is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. What's that hour of temptation? Being tested, to receive this mark. When all hell is breaking loose and Esau Edom, shuts things down, financially, you got to go through him to get your food, your water, everything, you're going to be tested. So this hour of temptation is going to come upon the whole world. But, we know the 144,000 elect men are going to be the only ones that don't take this chip first and foremost. There's going to be other people that won't take it. But first and foremost, the elect men of Yahweh Shem Shai will absolutely not take this chip, man. So it says, which shall come upon all the world, Salakia. It said to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is going to affect the whole world, and what is this, man? What is this? It's the RFID microchip, and the water for, Yahweh Shem Shai putting the spirit upon our apostles, apostles are on down, to bring this out, and for the Holy Spirit to be able to let us see this, man, and truly believe it. Because you got people out here that still absolutely come up against this teaching with all the evidence right here in your face. But, this is the book of Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You go into this word mark like we always do, and it's charagma, and we can keep going into it, the actual root words of it, a stamp, an imprint, a mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand. You know, it's going off right there, but it says a thing carved, sculpture, graven work. You know, root word, karox. A pale, a stake, a palisade. You know, you look up a palisade, it's like, you know, a sharp instrument, you know, similar to a toothpick or a stake that you know you see in the horror movies with what you drive through. I think it's a vampire's heart or something like that. A rampart, a palisade. You know, so these things are coming, man, upon the earth. You know, to sharpen to a point the idea of scratching. Let's go. You just got grapho, to write. You know. So that's what's coming, you know. The MOTB, man, you know. Mark of the Beast, RFID microchip. So now we're going to get to the kind of the meat of the lesson, you know, Book of Revelation chapter 16, going into this grievous sore that's going to be brought upon anyone that take this mark, you know. You know, when I first heard this, I heard, you know, Apostle Hall say, man, you know, this RFID microchip is going to cause a cancer, man. You know, people are going to actually get sick behind this. So we're going to go into what this noisome and grievous sore is. All right, this is the book of Revelation. Get my glasses, man. Wow, wait. Salaki. That's wild, that stumbling and rambling. Salaki. All right, this is the book of Revelation chapter 16, verse 1. It says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua upon the earth. Verse 2, this is the point. It says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them that worship his image. So let's go into these words: noisome, grievous, and sore. Let's see, noisome.
Strong's G 2556. Kakas. Kakas.
It says of a bad nature. Of a bad nature. Drop down to 3. It says troublesome, injurious, pernicious, destructive, baneful. Let's go to this word pernicious. You know, because we're going into, will this chip implantation make you sick or not? So
pernicious
says having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. So it's not going to be immediate sickness that falls upon people. You know, it's going to be a gradual thing that takes place with this implanted in your body. So I looked up, you know, can radio frequency inside the body make you sick? It says yes. While radio frequency inside the body can potentially cause sickness, it depends on the intensity and the duration of exposure. So it's going to be a gradual sickness that falls upon people, you know, but it also depends, you know, on the frequency. Is at a very, very high levels. RF radiation can heat tissues, can cause burns, while lower levels are still being researched for potential non-thermal effects. But you know, this is going to affect your body. This is going to be that noisome and grievous sore. Sickness and symptoms. Let's see. Some potential symptoms associated with RF exposure includes headache, fatigue, dizziness, skin redness, and digestive disturbances. But if you have this directly implanted in your brain, you know, hey, directly inside your body, it's gonna cause all kind of problems. So, you know, that's your noisome aspect of it. So let's go to grievous. Grievous. We'll drop down to the second definition. It says bad, of a bad nature or condition, in a physical sense, diseased or blind. Diseased. So let's focus on that. You know, we know suffering from a disease. So this chip is going to give you a disease, man. You know, cancer. You know, and it's not medical information. So let's go to sore. It says a wound producing a discharge, pus, a sore, an ulcer. And a lot of times if you look at cancer, you know, like skin cancer or something like that, even internally, man, it's an ulcer. You know, it's an ulcer. Let's see. Salakia. Let's see. Ulcer. Ulcer is a sore that develops in the lining of an esophagus, stomach, or small intestine. You know, that's not just, you know, the only places that an ulcer can occur. But we see it, man. You know, this is what's coming. You know, and matter of fact, let's see what is the RFID. Radio frequency identification. Radio frequency identification technology uses radio waves to identify people or objects. It says there is a device that reads information contained in a wireless device or tag from a distance without making any physical contact or requiring a line of sight. So if this is in your body, you know, these people are going to know everything about you, where you go, you know, tracking elements, you know, your bodily functions, not to mention that you're going to have to buy and sell with this chip, you know, and the ones that's implanted in your brain, you're going to be using it for, you know, like the Jake said, to write on text messages, possibly see information. You know, you might look at something, you know, they got the glasses now. You know, you might look at something and it'll tell you exactly what it is, the origins of it, everything, man. So you may have this implanted in your brain, but ultimately it's going to cause a grievous sore. So, you know, your how about Shimmy Al-Shai is going to get you through sickness as well as the Salakia, the nuclear warheads, man. You know, Salakia, a little anxious, but that's what's coming, man. You know, as far as that noisome, grievous sore, this chip is gonna cause it. So, with that being said, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Shalom.